So we've just seen how we can use Da Vinci's idea box for coming up with great, fun ideas for drawing. You can also use that technique for storytelling or any artistic endeavour that you want to try. But if, like me, you know you won't really make a living as an artist, how can you use the idea box for business? Well, simple really. The idea box is my favourite tool for creating new product development ideas, and in this instance, we're going to create the next big thing in fast food restaurants. So as with every other idea box, we need to start with a box. And in this instance, I'll create the box with 5 columns and 9 rows, which will give 8 options for each section. Now for a fast food restaurant, we need to pick our 5 key unique selling points, or USP as it's called in business. Obviously we need to know what kind of food we will be serving, so let's just write down food. Now, how will we prepare the food before we serve it? You may be a fan of Italian or Chinese food, so let's pick a nationality. And now let's think of how it's going to be served. Now, this may impact on how easily people will be able to eat it in or take it away. And finally, every restaurant worth its salt has a mascot, so let's have a few options. So that is our 5 key concepts decided upon. Now let's simply fill out the rows. Now you do not need to be an expert on each suggestion, and sometimes in fact the more unknown an idea is, sometimes the more valuable it can be. When coming up with these ideas, it's important to not really put too much effort into each one, and if you do get stuck, either come back or just become really random. Now you can complete your own version alongside me if you want to, or you can just watch along and see what we come up with. So let's start with food. What is going to be your signature dish? A popular fast food is chicken, but let's think about something different. How about lamb? It's always popular with Sunday lunch. How about something more adventurous with crocodile? Now I've actually eaten crocodile, and I know it's kind of nice. And ostrich, well, that makes delicious burgers. And talking about burgers, how about the ever popular cow? I don't know about you, but some people do really enjoy eating horse meat. And maybe you think that eating meat is wrong, so you choose to serve only vegan food. And finally, let's have my favourite, and that's pig. So how will you prepare the meal before you serve it? Well, obviously you could choose to simply grill the food. It's fast, effective and tasty. Talking about tasty, you could fry it or refry it. And how about something different? And a fast food roast dinner, or simply and quickly seared, or the most extreme, raw. Probably not a great idea for meat-based dishes. A method that is often misunderstood is boiled, and really extreme, pickled. Could you imagine pickled crocodile? Maybe not the best combination. And finally, we can quickly poach the food. You can generally tell the nationality of a fast food restaurant by its colour scheme and name. They tell you whether you will have Japanese sushi or Italian pizza. It's a great selling point and helps create identity in your customer's mind about what they are going to experience. So do not underestimate the value of a nationality. As you can tell from my accent, I'm British. And to be fair, British cuisine has really improved over the years. So maybe we should shout about it a little more. How about Polish? I don't know much about Polish food, but I did work with a Polish woman once, and she had a lot of beetroot and pickled food. How about Russian? No, I have no idea what that would be like. How about simple, American, fried and grilled? Pretty much like every other fast food place. Just like Chinese and Indian, you know what you're getting. What about Australian and a barbecue? And finally, let's try something really, really unknown. Something very exotic. And let's go to Alaska. Now we have 3 columns completed. We know the ingredients and how we will prepare it, and also what nationality we will choose the recipes from. So how will we serve it to our customers? And now don't be smart and say in a box. We could go with a classic burger, but is it that simple? You could have ciabatta or sourdough, or just a classic sesame seed. You see, with each option you'll find it will bring more options. A late night favourite is the kebab, and the classic lunchtime meal is the sandwich. But let's heat the dish up a little with a nice stew, and why not become extreme with a full dinner? Big, big, big dinner. But let's come back to portability now, and serve it in breadcrumbs or battered. And then, I don't know, how about we just serve it with a side order of rice? Now we're on to the last row. And what could be the most important decision that you make? See, I think that's the mascot. Think about your favourite fast food place. Now, has their mascot been around forever? Or do they change it all the time? And what does that say to you? I think it's best to get your mascot right the first time. So let's get really creative here. So let's begin with a bear. Now, should we have a polar bear, a brown bear, a black bear, or how about a panda? The next one will cause some division, because I chose a cat instead of a dog. But how about a unicorn, or a cartoon burglar? What about a fairy princess, or a tanuki? Now, if you don't know what a tanuki is, it's kind of like a Japanese raccoon, but with lots more character. How about the scourge of the picnic, and have an ant? Or finally, the Mexican wrestler, the Lucha Libre. So take a moment and just look at the list of options you now have laid in front of you. Hundreds, maybe thousands of possibilities. So one of them has to be right, doesn't it? The big question is, which one will be the right one? And that is the next challenge. I personally like to take two approaches. The first one, I use my unconscious mind and just close my eyes, grab a pen and just start making marks on the page. I try to get one mark in each column. I do try. Sometimes you get 2 or 3. But then when I open my eyes, I hopefully have 5 completed sections, random and ready-made for me. Question is, what does it look like? And then is it any good? Well, maybe it's in the right direction. But really, we all know that serving raw pork in a Chinese sauce on a sandwich with the unicorn mascot, come on, that's unlikely to take off, isn't it? Well, to be fair, it's unlikely to pass the health inspection to start with. So let's now take a more conscious approach. This time, we look through the list. And to begin with, we just look it over a few times. Think about the options in front of us and imagine our options. And from there, we start selecting from each section. 1 from column 1, then column 2, 3, 4, and so on. Now think a second. Does that start making sense to you? Do you think you've found your £1 million idea yet? Now, what's really important about the idea box for business is that it gives you a great way to become innovative and to come up with a truly fresh idea. And in doing so, it can really take the pressure off when you want to be creative. Now, I know the one question you probably have left is, what will I be choosing for my fast food restaurant? Well, that one's simple. It's going to be a fast food restaurant that serves crocodile. Now, this crocodile is grilled to perfection and it's cooked alongside classic Alaskan recipes. It's often served in a delicious sliced bread sandwich. And who's my mascot going to be? Well, really, I just couldn't resist choosing a Mexican wrestler. Question for you is, what do you think I should call it? And also, would you come for lunch? See, the idea box for business is genuinely one of my favourite new product development tools, as it can be so successful, as well as so much fun, coming up with new objects and ideas that really could be your first £1 million idea.